Brooks County, besides the vast ranches, is also known as the county with the highest border crosser death rate of any county in Texas. After they cross the river, they go into a stash house for several days. While they're in the stash house, there's insufficient food, sanitation, water, so they're at a physical deficit at that point. Then they're loaded up in vehicles and brought to the south side of Brooks, and they're dumped out into the brush with the expectation that they'll walk up to 3 days to get to the north side of the county to get picked up and taken to Houston, San Antonio, Chicago, New York, that sort of thing. It's hot, it's humid, you've got all the wildlife. If you're injured, the group does not wait for you. If you can't keep up, you're just walking too slow, the group does not wait for you. If you choose to stay with somebody that can't keep up, the group will not wait for you. You either call 911 or you walk out, but that's your only two options. If you don't have enough water on you and you can't find water along the way, then you'll die. Simple as that. I had a guy in a group tell me one time, I think there was 12 that started and 3 finished. So that's a string of bodies. There's one coyote that takes their phones all the time, every time. Takes their phone as soon as they leave. So if anybody goes down, they can't call 911. An individual in that group went down, another individual decided to stay with him. He had a hidden phone. So once the group got out of sight, he called 911 and they were both safe. That's how we found out. So even though we're not a border county, we have the areas that require walking, not driving. And that walking in this harsh environment is what creates the deaths. If you go down in the brush and die, they take your ID and now you're unidentified. We just had an identification that took place from 2016. So it can take a long time. And in the Hispanic culture, Latino culture, it's really important to have the remains back. Ultimately, that's why I do it. It's what the family deserves. We've had difficulties with federal funding because Brooks is not a border county. So the sheriff has tried to partner with some of the smaller border counties to get federal funding, but federal funding is really difficult to get for Brooks. I cover my own expenses, vehicle is mine, all the expenses in relation to searching ranches, recovering bodies, bringing them back. I incur that cost. Brooks can't afford to take a deputy off the street and put them in the brush. They can't afford that. I have a volunteer search group, Remote Wildland Search and Recovery, and they go out on the ranches and search. No, we don't find them all. I don't think there's any way you can find them all. Now we search and we search and we search. We find skeletal, we find fresh, we find 1 month old, 2 months old. 2012, we had 129. Last year, we had 119. And this year, we're already over 70. We'll never find them all.